I give the Bills all the credit in the world for that. The Bills are the ultimate, like, build a dome team, right, for the weather.
Yeah.
They were, no, we're not doing it. Good on them. They shouldn't have done it. It's stupid. I'm sorry. I will argue to the death with anybody over this. What is the advantage of building a dome? What? First of all, it costs a hell of a lot more money.
It does.
Second of all, oh, you're great. You're going to Super Bowl. Who cares? You first of all, you don't know that. Second of all, you might get one of them. Who cares? Like, again, unless you're if you're a business owner, I'll hear you. If you're not a business owner, what the hell's the difference?
It's that football show here on KC Sports Network. Tucker Franklin hanging out with Matt Verderame for your Friday edition of the show. Thank you to our partners, Ben Holiday, Bald & Bond Bourbon, Holiday Distillery, for making this show possible. We really do appreciate all of their efforts there at Holiday Distillery and all the great products that they do have at Holiday Distillery. Not just Ben Holiday, Bald & Bond Bourbon. You can get Housong's Tequila. You can get Five Farms Irish Cream as well. 360 Vodka. I've got a couple of 360 signs up in the back, but they do phenomenal stuff there over at Holiday Distillery. Matt, been a couple days. How you feeling? How's everything going on your end?
Good, pretty good. Can't complain. Got the weekend out of us. Got Father's Day, which means I get to look like a king for one day and just tell people to leave me alone. And things are good. I can't believe we're almost halfway through June, but things are rolling right along.
I mean, June just kind of has zipped by. Recording this obviously on the 13th, but
yeah.
Man, it has been a quick one. Chiefs wrapped up OTA session 3 of OTAs for them. These are the voluntary OTAs. Next week, they'll start the mandatory minicamp, where we will have some things to watch for going into OTAs, or minicamp, I should say. And then we'll have training camp after that. They'll have a little bit, probably close to like a month off, probably 4 weeks off before they have to report to St. Joe. So things are moving. Things are shaking.
I appreciate that. For anyone who saw the Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Finals.
Oh, my gosh.
Great game.
Oh.
But I love that Travis Kelce just can't be bothered at all at this point. He's like, yeah, I'm just hanging out at the Stanley Cup Final. Like, yeah, just with Taylor Swift, just hanging out, living the dream down in Sunrise.
Uh-huh.
And, like the Chiefs, it's like, it's been good. I respect the fan base because I have not had one person like, I don't like the Kelce's, like, not fully committed to OTAs.
Right.
Also, yeah, it's fine. I'll see you at minicamp.
Yeah.
I think, did he show up for like one OTA or something?
I think he was there for like the first day. And then he said, wait, I don't have to be here for this.
I'm good, as it turns out. I Noah Gray get some reps.
Right.
I'd rather hang out with my gorgeous all world girlfriend.
Right.
And watch some other athletes. I'm good. I'm 35 and I didn't forget how to play football. So I like that he and his brother had Spags on the New Heights podcast.
Oh yeah.
And Spags was making fun of Kelce about his lack of a GPA. I got a good kick out of that. But yeah, man. By the way, for anyone who didn't see that, I thought it was a very interesting interview. It was very good. You got a real good insight into why the Chiefs paid Nick Bolton 3 years and $45 million. Because Spags was like, I tell you what, I tell all the guys, if anything goes wrong, just listen to whatever the hell Nick tells you to do.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, he makes everybody on the field better. I was like, yeah, there you go. That's why I paid him.
That is.
Why? He may not be able to cover any better than I can, but he knows what he's doing. So, the more you can do in life, everybody. There you go.
It was a good podcast. To go listen to that, obviously. I'm sure people who listen to this podcast obviously listen to New Heights because it's a far better program than this one is. Way better guests and way better people talking. So we do appreciate you listening to this podcast as well. But
a warm-up band for New Heights.
It's a warm-up band. It's like one of those, but it's not the tension band that's like the thick one, right? It's the really thin one that you really start off with. It doesn't really give you a whole lot of resistance.
Yeah.
Just like basically moving your arm is basically
it's like basically just doing like those little circles with your arms.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like when the kids who play soccer, they're still getting like orange slices and like sun. Those kids warming up. Yeah.
Incredible. Well, we do have we're gonna obviously have quick hitters. And we're gonna do a little bit of a quick hitter segment for the Chiefs as well, because they did step to the podium on Thursday. there's some interesting things. I think Jaden Hicks stepped to the podium. There's Kareem Hunt as well.
Yep.
His presser was a little bit boring. And then you had Kingsley Suamataia, Andy Reid also at the podium as well. So we'll run through kind of some of the things that they talked about. Nothing I don't think that we haven't really already talked about before on this here program. But I think there are some interesting insights that we can get into. First, I want to start with Andy Reid's press conference that he had. He gave a little bit of an update into Josh Simmons, but what I kind of thought was interesting, and maybe it was what Andy Reid didn't say that I thought was interesting, was in terms of Trey Smith's contract negotiations, is he was asked if he thought Trey Smith would be at mandatory minicamp. Sidebar, my opinion here, he shouldn't. He shouldn't go to mandatory minicamp. And honestly, if Travis Kelce was like, yeah, you know what? I think I'll just eat these fines, I think I would understand that as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't care if Travis Kelce doesn't show up for like week 1. Like, you just meet him in Brazil. It's fine. Yeah, listen, I mean, if you're Trey Smith, why in God's name did you show up?
Yeah, there's no reason.
What if, God forbid, man, like you hurt yourself? You know, there's no way. And listen, you know what? The team understands that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone with a functioning brain understands why he wouldn't show up to camp. There's not going to be a single person in that building who's like, whoa, I thought Trey was going to be here. You know, like that. It's fine if he doesn't show up. It's fine. Now, look, he may show up. He may say, hey, I don't want to get fined. I'll be there. And yeah, he might. I mean, James Cook did it, right?
Mm-hmm.
He might. But James Cook is also under contract. Trey Smith is technically under contract because he signed the tag.
Right.
But, it's a 1 year, it's a 1 year tag, and it's not a long-term deal. So, most guys in that situation don't show up. Doesn't mean you won't, but most don't. And again, if I'm Trey Smith, like, fine, I'll eat 3 days of a fine. I don't care. It's not a big deal.
Right.
I'll make it back in my $100 million contract.
Yeah.
And we can all move forward. Yeah, it would actually be hilarious if some of the veteran guys were like, listen, it's not, we're not upset or anything. It's just we're good.
Yeah, we're all right.
As it turns out, we've played a season's worth of playoff football over the last 5 years. We're all set. But yeah, no, I would expect that Smith will be the only guy who doesn't show up. I don't think there's anybody else. Yeah, I think for the Chiefs, like, that's fine. And then you've got a month essentially to negotiate a deal, which I know is frustrating to fans sometimes. Like, why isn't it done? Why? It's not done because, in May and April, the GM and the front, they're consumed with free agency and the draft, trying to get that done. And then a lot of these guys, I know it sounds funny, but like they're human beings. They go on vacation.
Yeah.
Like they're gone. They go on vacation. I mean, I can tell you right now, there are some people who take vacation during OTAs. They're just not in the building. It's like, all right, see you. Like, we'll catch up later. These, it's an agency. That's their time. Take some. It's just, there's no rush. Like, there's not. It's not like Brett Veach is going to wake up on June 20th and go, oh my God, I don't have any time to get this done. Like, he could call up Tory Dandy and they could knock that out in an hour.
Yeah.
You know about what the contract's going to be. It's not like it's like some huge unknown. Brett's not going to call him up and be 3 and 30 going to get it done. Like, it's going to be 4 or 5 years, about $24 million a year. 65 to 70 guarantee, like somewhere right in that range. That's about what it's going to be. That's it. Like, we all know it. So, yeah, they got to finagle it a little bit, but like, it's not like it's going to take some, like, once they start in earnest trying to figure that out, it's not going to take them 2 years to figure that out.
Yeah.
Like, they'll just do it. It's not that, I don't think it's as big of a deal as people may think it is.
I agree. To your point, they do have until July 15th to get a long-term deal signed. What also goes into this tag a little bit too is Trey Smith's like not making money right now. I mean, he's probably doing like deals and like brand deals and stuff like that. But like the contract is a fully guaranteed franchise tag, but that fully guaranteed does not start until you start playing games. So I don't want to pocket watch Trey Smith necessarily or speculate what his income is, but that could be that's also another factor of like why these guys do hold out, because they're technically not getting paid for going to these mandatory minicamps, even though they will be getting fined if they're not there. The minicamp does start June 17th, runs to the 19th. This was Andy Reid's quote. he said when he was asked about Trey Smith's participation next week, yeah, we'll see. I don't know that, to be honest. I mean, these things are, we'll see where he goes. We'll see where it goes.
Oh, it's big. Thanks for the update, Andy. Look, I'm sure Andy's really staying awake at night if Trey Smith doesn't show up in mandatory minicamp.
Right.
I'm sure he just can't sleep. I think everybody will survive. Be okay.
I think so too. I think so too as well. Andy Reid's update on Josh Simmons. He said, quote, "You know what, he's doing a nice job. We weren't quite sure how much we were going to be able to get out of him, but he looks strong. He's been jumping in and taking team reps now. He was doing the individual stuff before. You can definitely see the talent. He's got to keep learning. He's got the stuff that Andy Hack is what he's referring to here. Andy's teaching him fundamentally and technique wise. Simmons sure has a good attitude about it. An encouraging sign for someone who we didn't know if was going to be healthy until midway through training camp. Now he's doing team drills. I know there's been some offensive line, I'll say in air quotes, injuries, as like Jalen Moore and Jawan Taylor have been limited in practices. It's probably all precautionary stuff that they're just like, I don't really want to do team reps right now in OTAs in the middle of June. I wouldn't either, truthfully. So he's getting the opportunity to do that, which I think is good for the rookie.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, listen, I am surprised. I think a lot of people are surprised that Josh Simmons is doing any team drills.
Yeah.
In the OTAs. I think the thought was like, hey, he might practice fully in like August. So that's great. I mean, if they end up getting him that healthy for training camp, he's there day one, ready to go.
Yeah.
That is obviously best case scenario. That would be fantastic. And then you can have a real battle with him and Jalen Moore and let the best man win. Whoever wins the job wins it. And whoever loses, you hope also played well and then gives you, a really nice option at swing tackle. Or if Jawan Taylor decides to take 12 penalties down in Brazil, you slide him right into the right tackle. But I look forward to it. That'll be fun. The first game, Jawan Taylor takes like 4 penalties and a half.
Yeah.
And everybody's just screaming for whoever the hell lost the left tackle job. Listen, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. But I think if you're the Chiefs with Simmons, like, you can't ask for any more than what they're getting. It's impossible to ask for more than this. So, you should feel really good about it.
Staying with the offensive line, obviously they have a hole to fill in the left guard position. PFF's number 2 guard in the National Football League, Joe Thuney, now plays for the Chicago Bears.
Yes.
Kingsley Suamataia was at the podium, and he was kind of asked about how it is transitioning to a new position, and he said it's going great. It's like learning. It's a new learning step for me and a learning curve for me, just to better myself. And I think the more positions I can learn how to play, the more valuable I am. It's going good. He also talked a little bit about, being benched as well, because that was, a big part of it. And he said that's just how the league goes. One guy goes down, the next guy has to come in and put his best foot forward. That allowed me to take my time as a player, just put my head down and keep working until I got put in guard later in the season, and I fell in love with it. So he said it feels like it's a nice little restart. Got a new position. It's like year one all over again for Kingsley Suamataia. So it seems like he is feeling good at offensive guard. And look, he has a really good, Seth Kaiser talked about this a little bit yesterday on Only Weird Games. He's got a really good profile for an offensive tackle. And you put his you just put his body frame at guard. Like he's like body wise, he's got a great buildup for a guard that you don't really see a whole lot elsewhere just because of those long arms and how big he is.
The problem with Suamataia as a tackle was not football intellect. It was not his size. His problem was his foot speed. Right. He couldn't get to the edge.
Yeah.
Like guys weren't bull rushing him. Guys weren't like swimming inside of him. It was just, I can get around the edge and that's it. Well, there's no edge at guard.
That's true.
Like you have people on both sides of you. So I am very intrigued to see him at guard. Last year in the middle of the year, I remember saying multiple times, I think that his future is at guard because he is athletic. He can pull. He can get to the next level. Like none of that's a problem. You don't watch him and say, oh, that's the issue.
Yeah.
The problem was the fact that he just could not deal with anybody who could get to the corner. I mean, Nick Bonino and Trey Hendrickson were literally untouched going around the corner at times. Again, you're not dealing with that kind of speed as a guard. You're not dealing with the edge as a guard. So I could see that working out. And by the way, if he ends up being a starting guard for them, that's not a bust of a pick. Like,
No.
That's fine. They took him 63rd overall. That's fine. If you take a guy 63rd overall and he turns out to be a starting guard for you, that's a win. Like, I think that is the future. I could tell you from talking to a few people in the building, like they do genuinely believe that he's going to be a day one, or for this year anyway, day one starter and going to be good at the position. That Denver game did give them some confidence in that regard. I think if you're the Chiefs, like, again, that's not the worst case scenario. If he ends up being a guard who can play, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. He will not be, if it works out, he will not be the first tackle who could not be a tackle who ends up kicking inside and ends up having a nice career.
100%. I think that's an important thing to note with Kingsley. I know they started cross-training him last year, and really ever since he got into – that's what Andy Heck likes to do. I remember talking to Andy Heck at the Super Bowl a little bit about just his philosophy and cross-training offensive linemen, of why he thinks it's important for these guys to know multiple positions, because their philosophy very much is, we're going to put the five best guys out there. We're going to put the five best offensive linemen out there, whether that's position or not. That's, I think, why you saw Joe Tooney play a lot of left tackle last year, because he was one of their five best offensive linemen that they had when it came down to it. And Mike Caliendo was probably in that five as well. And they probably felt more comfortable with Mike Caliendo in at guard than Joe Tooney at tackle. Okay, last one I have here on the quick hitters from the pressers, and we have one news nugget to hit before we hit a break here. Interesting quote from Jaden Hicks, I thought, from the podium. He talked about kind of how Justin Reed mentored him last year and kind of helped him along. He said, quote, "I think I'm a lot more comfortable this year. There's obviously still room to grow, still room to learn, but I think Jay Reed was a great help. He helped me get everything under myself and just keep stacking these days, keep getting better each day. And I think that's the most important thing so far. Obviously, I'm kind of playing that role that he was playing last year. He really did a great job taking me under his wing, being savvy, knowing how to disguise this defense a lot. And that's a big part of our scheme. He did a really good job with that and just setting a good example for what I should look up to." Matt, I don't know if it stuck out to you as well, but that sentence of, obviously I'm kind of playing the role that he was playing this year, stuck out to me with Jaden Hicks.
Yeah, listen, I think most people watch the Chiefs last year. I'm pretty high on Jaden Hicks. He looks the part. And when he gave a double thumbs down on Christmas Day to George Pickens on national television, I remember immediately being like, all right, this guy's going to be a good player.
Yeah, incredible.
Like, you kind of got to have brass once to do that on Christmas Day on the road on national television to George Pickens. But yeah, it's nice. That guy can play, man. I think, look, now it's going to be interesting because he's going to be in that free safety role. And that's different than what Brian Cook does. And I always kind of felt like Hicks was more of a Brian Cook style player than a Justin Reed style player. But now you bring him in. Listen, I will be curious to see how much of a role Mike Edwards has early in the year with this team.
Yeah.
Because Mike Edwards can play that free safety role. And he can also play a strong safety role. He came in for Cook down the stretch when Cook got hurt in Green Bay a couple of years ago and they won the Super Bowl. He played for Cook and was playing, as we detailed it a couple months ago, he was literally playing 100% of the snaps.
Mm-hmm.
How much, does he get in there for both of these guys? Because if he's on the field, you always have a veteran guy in there at some point. Now, to be fair, I would also argue that at this point in time, Brian Cook is also a veteran. I mean, Brian Cook's in his fourth year, and he knows the defense, and he's been a good player for him. But yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, Hicks at Washington State was used in a lot of different roles.
He was.
So he has a background in that. I mean, they played him at slot corner occasionally. He locked up Roma Dunze in a game once at Washington State as a corner. He is a very athletic guy. Also, by the way, shout out to the Bills because that trade that involved Worthy, that they also took Hicks with a trade. They got picked the guy from the Bills. So
Great.
Shout out to the Bills there. Really, it worked out well for the Bills. It's great. Nothing says success like Worthy and Hicks for Keon Coleman and Dwayne Carter. That's how that worked out for the Bills. Go back and fact check me on that, kids. That's how that worked out. So it's great. Yeah, look, I mean, Hicks might prove to be better than both those guys.
Yeah.
But listen, I think Hicks should be a really good player for them.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of those guys like when they took him, you're like, that guy fits what they do. To be honest, another second, kind of like, and I'll stake my claim on this one, kind of like Noel Williams.
Ooh, okay.
When they took Noel Williams, my first thought was that guy's heaven sent for their defense.
Yeah.
He's big and he's physical and he just wants to get into a boxing match at the line of scrimmage. I'm like, okay, that guy just fits what they do.
Yeah.
He just fits. By the way, I also think it's interesting. Like, if you think about it, they took Jalen Watson a couple of years ago. Where did he go to school?
Washington State, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And where did Jaden Hicks go to school?
Washington State.
Yeah. They didn't just watch Jaden Hicks for a year.
Yeah.
Like, they've been aware of Jaden Hicks for a while. Like, I just always think it's interesting when they Chiefs, you go back and look, and a lot of teams do. They have a history, like, take one guy from the unit, and then they take another guy, so, like, work them. Sometimes teams will do that because that school coaches in a way that translates very well to how they play football.
Right.
Like, I've always thought it, like, I think Alabama, one of the reasons a lot of their guys work out, not just because they're talented, they play a pro-style offense. That is the way they play. I think there's something to that. LSU's receivers, there's it's not just talent sometimes. It's also about, like, we have an idea of how this guy's going to translate because they use him the same way we would use him.
Yeah.
And so, I think Hicks is in for a very big year for that.
I think it's exciting. That defense is exciting to me this year and kind of all the pieces that they have and all the pieces that they can use, the pieces that they have at their disposal. I feel a lot better about the defense this year than I did last year. I'll say that, and when it comes down to everything. But, Matt, we'll talk about some stadium stuff, I think, coming up on the other side. I got to go to the bathroom, so I'm going to throw it to a break, and we'll be back right after this. Chiefs.
Looking for tickets for your next event? Tickets for Less is your #1 source. Save big on every purchase when you use promo code KCSN at ticketsforless.com.
Success in real estate takes more than vision. It takes the right financial partner. When someone takes something rundown and turns it into something great, that's called a comeback story, like Brain Group. They take distressed properties here in KC, completely rework them, and then turn them into valuable real estate. But that kind of work needs the right bank behind it. Enter Emprise Bank. They're not about cookie-cutter loans. They saw Brain Group's vision, backed them, and now they're making big moves in Kansas City real estate. Talk about your partner in possible. Emprise doesn't do one-size-fits-all financing. They invest in potential and back growth. Visit emprisebank.com/KC to learn more. Emprise Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Folks, it's playoff time, and if you're still just watching the games, then you're missing out. With Pick 6 from DraftKings, you can turn your hoops knowledge into real cash. Just make your picks, track your score, and if you hit all 6, you're looking at bigger payouts than Prize Picks flex plays. Nobody's dropping better payouts than Pick 6. Hit 6 picks, and that's 25 times your cash. And if you beat your competition, you could be looking at a 500 times bag in your pocket. And right now, new customers can get $50 in bonus picks with just a $5 entry. Here's what you got to do. The playoffs are on, so why not take a shot at making a little money while you're watching? Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app right now and use code KCSN. That's code KCSN to play $5 and get $50 in bonus picks. Better payouts, bigger wins, only on Pick 6 from DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdictions. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited, 1 per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 bonus picks that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. Terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
I'll tell you, he really had to go. Man was gone, but we ran a 5-second break promo, and Franklin was out the gate. That's when you know that chicken teriyaki might have been questionable from the mobile, And it's unfortunate because these things do happen. But really unfortunate to happen during the pod. He's just lucky we were right in time for a break. But I'll slander him in the meantime. I don't know if I have the guts to keep this in the program. Either way, it's listen. Sometimes in life, you got to make that run. Let's just hope he made it in time. Tragedy if all of a sudden he comes downstairs with a different pair of pants on. But here we are.
All right, thanks for taking that for me, Matt. Welcome back into That Football Show. Appreciate everybody hanging out with us. Make sure to hit that like button, hit a subscribe as well to become a ball knower. Look, the more you leave comments about not liking the name Ball Knower, the more I want to call you guys Ball Knowers. I hope you guys all know that. I see your comments. I read every single one of them. I see them. So appreciate you guys all the way, always hanging out with us. I do love the comment section as well. Some good stuff always goes down there as well. Okay, let's get into quick hitters. As first, let's start with Missouri. The state of Missouri and their lawmakers, per the Associated Press, on Wednesday, they approved hundreds of millions of dollars in financial aid to try to persuade the Kansas City Chiefs and Royals to remain in the state and also to help the St. Louis area recover from a devastating tornado. Weird that they package those things together. That surely couldn't be related, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Here's the deal. Here's what happened. You guys know that the lease is set to expire in 2031. Jackson County voters last year defeated a sales tax extension that would have helped finance $800 million in renovation for the Chiefs and a $2 billion ballpark for the Royals. That prompted lawmakers in Kansas to authorize bonds for up to 70% of the cost of new stadiums in Kansas to lure teams to their site. The Royals have bought a mortgage for a property in Kansas, though the team has not continued. The team has also continued to pursue other sites in Missouri. The Kansas offer is scheduled to expire on June 30th, creating urgency for Missouri to approve a counter offer. Missouri's legislation authorizes bonds covering up to 50% of cost of new or renovated stadiums, plus up to $50 million of tax credits for each stadium and unspecified aid from local governments. If they choose to stay in Missouri, the Chiefs plan a $1.15 billion, that's with a B, renovation for Arrowhead Stadium. The Chiefs, in a statement to the Associated Press, described the legislative vote as a, quote, significant step forward that enables the team to continue exploring options to remain in Missouri.
I love that Clark Hunt is getting public financial aid.
Yep.
I'm just going to say that. Listen, I'm not, screw it. I was going to say, I'm not going to like say anything against that. I'm actually going to hear it. Listen, a lot of team owners in the United States get this kind of aid. I'm not saying he's unique. Okay. Yep. I am going to say this. It's kind of bullshit. Like, you're worth how much money? Build the stadium. Renovate stadium. And by the way, you know what your public aid is? That everyone pays to go there.
Yeah.
Ungodly amount of money. Okay. Parking, concessions, tickets, merchandise, all the money that the NFL brings in via TV. Joe, I wonder how they bring in TV money.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're worth how much money? Go ahead, renovate Arrowhead Stadium. You can do it. Like, I understand why he doesn't have to, because he's looking at it like, well, what the hell? Kansas will give me the money. So
yeah.
Kansas, the Missouri then will give me the money. I get it. I'm not blaming him. Like, I understand it. But my point is, these franchises that hold these cities and states hostage and just say, well, we need $800 million. No, you don't. No, you don't. Like, you can afford to do it. You can absolutely afford to do it.
Yeah.
You kidding me? The interest Clark Hunt's going to make alone this summer probably covers a quarter of that, if not. Like, you're fine. You're fine. There's no that is one thing. Or in the NFL, by the way, it has funds for this stuff. Like, go ahead, pay for it. I mean, you can do it. Not like maybe the Bengals, maybe they can't do it. Okay, maybe they really do need to step in. But like, most of these teams, and look, I'm a New Yorker. I remember when the Yankees and the Mets were holding New York City over a barrel over this. We need public funding. Fucking George Steinbrenner. You don't need public funding. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And they ended up getting it. They got it. But it's like, my whole thing, I remember back then, like, a lot of New Yorkers were really pissed about it. And I remember thinking to myself, like, what are they going to do? Move? The Yankees are going to pick up we're going to Montreal.
Right.
Like, okay, good luck with that, guys. Have fun. The bottom line, though, from a just practicality standpoint, is I do not want to see the Chiefs move out of Arrowhead. I don't. And it's someone who, look, I travel around the league. It is my job. I've been doing a lot of stadiums. I can really genuinely and unbiasedly tell you, Arrowhead is, if not the coolest stadium to go to, it's in the top 3. Like, it was built in 1972, and it's awesome. It is a great venue because of the tailgate. It is a great venue because of the noise. It is a great venue because of the nostalgia of it. It is a great venue because, quite honestly, it's not a bad seat in the house.
Yeah.
And I will say this. I love this about Arrowhead. I love it about Lambeau. I've been to Lambeau a few times. It is about football. It's not about all the bullshit bells and whistles. You don't have to go there and listen to whose house? Rams house. Like, it's like a bunch of people in there, like, act like it's an open, quiet. Whose house? Who are we playing this week? Their house. Like, when you go to Kansas City, you're going to a football game.
Right.
I actually just mentioned Yankee Stadium. When I was a kid, I hate the Yankees. Okay, but when I was growing up, I loved going to Old Yankee Stadium because there was a history there. It was very much a vertically built stadium. You're on top of the field. It was extremely loud. I remember going to New Yankee Stadium. First time I ever went, I got tickets from a buddy of mine, his dad's company. I had tickets 4 rows behind home plate. And I sat there. Unbelievable seats. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I love the seats, but it was like going to a game in a mall. Man. It was like everybody was eating steak around you, and tickets in the upper deck were $100. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. This isn't a baseball game. This is like I bought clothes at the Gap and then somehow ended up here in the 4th inning. It's awful. It's not a fun atmosphere. It's not a good place to watch a baseball. I think even Yankees fans would tell you that. I really do. It's not. I'm telling you right now, somebody who has, even though I'm a Yankees fan, who's experienced the difference between stuff like that. You don't understand the home field advantage you're going to lose.
Yeah.
I would guarantee you, if you asked a player who played at Old Yankee Stadium and New Yankee Stadium, if there's a difference in the way they felt as an opposing player in that stadium, I guarantee you the answer is yes. I think the Chiefs have a massive home field advantage. In fact, one of the tweets I shot out afterwards with this whole, like, they should build a dome. I was like, the Chiefs building a dome is sacrilegious. That is a terrible idea. They should not do it. One of the Dolphins beat writers was like, they should do it for public health.
Oh, okay.
I was like, that's the reason you don't build the dome right there.
Yeah.
Because people coming in from Miami are like, oh my God, we're going to lose. Like, there you go. That's why. I just think sometimes, man, progress is not really progress. And I know there are people who are like, hey, if they build a dome in Kansas, they're going to get a Super Bowl. First of all, you don't know that. You might not get a Super Bowl. And second of all, okay, it's one Super Bowl.
Right.
You're not getting 5 of them. You're not LA. Like, you're not getting 5. So to me, is it really worth it? I don't. If you're a business owner, maybe, but if you're not, like, you're just a citizen of Kansas City or Jackson, like, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
Like, so what? Who cares? I'm glad it looks like this thing's gonna go through Missouri and they're gonna stay at that site. Because to me, like, I don't know, that's the Chiefs. It would be very weird if they played in a dome. I'd be furious.
I would, yes. And I know some people are like, well, Patrick Mahomes in a dome has been really good in his career. I don't know how many years Patrick Mahomes is going to play in this new stadium. They're in the current stadium that they have until 2031. Patrick Mahomes is turning 30 this year.
True.
That's in like it's 2025 right now. That's 6 years, right?
Yeah.
My math serves me right. That's 6 more years. Patrick Mahomes' career, he'll probably still be playing, right? But how many more years after that? Like if you're going to build a dome, and Matt, you make a good point. If people are like, oh, build a dome so you get a Super Bowl, what? I went to my first. I didn't go to the game, right? But I went to my first Super Bowl week this year.
Okay.
In New Orleans, and what surprised me about the Super Bowl is how much infrastructure it takes.
Oh,
and it's insane. How much infrastructure that Kansas City doesn't have. Like Kansas City doesn't have the same infrastructure that New Orleans has. Doesn't have the same places to host things that I feel that that New Orleans or Dallas. I haven't even gone back to Dallas for a Super Bowl in a long time. But even in Miami, in LA,
even a place like Indianapolis that is built for, in a lot of ways, for that stuff. Like it's good for conventions, and it's, Nashville is built for that kind of stuff. Kansas City is not really built for that stuff. I'll tell you right now, if the Chiefs and the city of Kansas City host a Super Bowl, there's going to be a lot of construction going on in Kansas City for a few years. I mean, you're not just talking about the game. You're talking about everything that goes into it. All the corporate sponsors, all the hangers-on that show up, all the events that go on with all these companies around the Super Bowl. A lot of these companies, their biggest events of the year happen at Super Bowl week. No, it is. Listen, it is insane. I've been fortunate enough to cover. Trying to look over the 5 Super Bowls. I've been to 6 Super Bowl weeks. I've covered 5 Super Bowl games. The amount of work that goes into it is bonkers.
Yeah.
People don't realize how much goes into hosting a Super Bowl. It's a ton. It is a ton. Like this year in San Francisco, the game's going to be in Santa Clara. That's going to be a mess because you're going to have all that stuff in San Francisco. Then, oh, by the way, you got to go an hour to Santa Clara. It's not 10 minutes down the street. Like that is going to be a lot, going to and from and everything else. I mean, it's just, there's a lot that goes into it. It's not as simple as people think it is.
It isn't. And I know that a lot of people, especially in the area and on Only We're Games, KC Lab here on the network, like we got people who are pretty indifferent on where they go. And truthfully, for me, I want them to stay in Missouri. Like I think that that just is the Chiefs are Missouri. And truthfully, I think they're going to have a hard time leaving Missouri, especially when you talk about these tax credits. Their whole operation is in Missouri. If they move their stadium to Kansas, but then still they'd probably build, a facility out there in Kansas as well, probably out there. So they have a state-of-the-art training facility. So they got that. But training camp's still in St. Joe. Like that's still Missouri. The Chiefs get a significant tax break from the state of Missouri for having everything that they have in the state of Missouri. Right. That's got to be an incentive as well to say, oh, we can still get these tax breaks. Why would we mess with a good thing in terms of the tax that they're getting? Like that is a thing that like these teams care about. They care about like the taxes that they're paying to the state, and they're getting a break with that. I find it hard to believe that. I think that the Royals should be downtown. That downtown baseball makes too much sense. Baseball should be played downtown. Baseball is a downtown sport. I think the Chiefs should, if they want to, I don't think they should build a new stadium, but they could at the same site that they have and make it a spaceship. I don't give a rat's ass. Don't put a dome over it because that's not football. I think that we've become to this point. I love that Buffalo did not build a dome over their new stadium. I think that's phenomenal. You have to keep that. You have to keep a little bit of the natural weather elements into it. I'm not going to get behind the dome. I know that I think Nate Taylor reported that Carcott wants a dome. I think that's bad. I don't think that should be in the plans. I think that they should keep an open air stadium. They should keep the vibe that they have now. A renovation, sure. $1.15 billion for a renovation. Okay, whatever. Just don't put a roof over it.
We're going to put a roof over the parking lot.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Everything else has a roof except the actual field itself. That'd be kind of sick.
By the way, how's Minnesota doing in their dome? How's that been going? That home field advantage we played out for them.
Great.
It's a gorgeous facility. It's a great stadium. The Vikings,
great stadium. Yeah.
Terrific people. But like, I would argue it was a lot harder to play in Minnesota in the 70s. When you had to go into the Met, it was freezing to death. Like, it's harder. It's harder to play there. I give the Bills all the credit in the world for that. The Bills are the ultimate like build a dome team, right? For the weather.
Yeah.
They were no, we're not doing it. Good on them. They should have done it. It's stupid. I'm sorry. I will argue to the death with anybody over this. What is the advantage of building a dome? What? First of all, it costs a hell of a lot more money.
Does.
Second of all, oh, you're great. We got a Super Bowl. Who cares? You first of all, you don't know that. Second of all, you might get one of them. Who cares? Like again, unless you're if you're a business owner, I'll hear you. If you're not a business owner, what the hell's the difference? What does it matter?
Here's the thing too with those cold weather places. Minnesota had one Super Bowl, right? They've had one.
They've had two.
They've had two. Okay, I know.
In 1991, and then in like 2016.
Okay, since U.S. Bank, they've had one.
Then. Yes.
That's still cold weather. Like there's still cold weather going on outside of the stadium.
No one wants to go there.
Nobody wants to. Yeah, no one would want to go to Buffalo for a Super Bowl. No one would want to come to Kansas City willingly in February. I love Kansas City. I live here, right? I have 10 minutes away from the stadium. No one willingly comes to Missouri when it is February and 10 degrees outside.
Bro, I lived in New York when they had the Super Bowl there.
That was an awful idea.
People in New York were annoyed at the fact that the Super Bowl was there because they're like, oh, God, more traffic.
Yeah, right.
Like, nobody gave a shit. I don't know one human being back home was like, this is great. I don't know anybody who went. I don't know a single human being who was excited the Super Bowls in New York. Nobody cared. Nobody. Because it's like, yeah, great. We're going to have an East Rutherford, New Jersey. Everybody's going to freeze to death. Great. Yep. Awesome. And it rained, and Peyton Manning was terrible, and it was funny, and the Broncos got killed. But, like, look, like Indianapolis, which is built to host stuff like this, hosted one Super Bowl. That was it. People do not want to go to cold weather cities for the Super Bowl. I don't want to do it. No. So all these people who are like, they get a dome, blah, 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 blah. Nobody cares. Nobody wants to go. Like, I've seen people say, oh, they're going to get the Final Four. All right, so what? Who cares? Yeah. Like, does it matter? I mean, yeah, I get it. If you're a Jayhawks fan, like, so what? I mean, it's just, I don't know. Like, to me, you're going to have to spend a ton of extra money to get a dome. And then on top of that, you're going to host what? One Final Four, one Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It's not like all of a sudden Kansas City's got San Diego's weather. Like, sorry. I mean, that's just reality. It's the way it is.
Well, here's what I was looking up. The places that have hosted the most Super Bowls, New Orleans, Caesars Superdome has hosted 8 of them. And there was good weather. I think we had good weather when we were down there in New Orleans. Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens, Florida has hosted 6. The Orange Bowl in Miami, Florida has also hosted 5. The Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California, 5. Tulane Stadium in New Orleans as well has hosted 3, with San Diego Stadium, Raymond James Stadium, and State Farm Stadium all hosting 3. Matt, you see a common theme.
Yeah, the weather's good and stuff.
The weather's pretty good in Louisiana, Florida, California, and Florida and Arizona in February.
Yeah, now, by the way, Vegas is going to have the Super Bowl every like third year. So,
yeah. Oh, the WWE already did it. The WWE was going to go to, I know this isn't like a wrestling podcast or anything, and you don't necessarily care, but WWE had slated that they were going to do WrestleMania in New Orleans this year. And then they said, never mind, we're going to actually do it in Vegas again.
Yeah. You know, like the NFL is going to put the Super Bowl in Florida, California, Vegas, occasionally Phoenix, for like the next like 18 of the 20 Super Bowls.
They're just going to cycle through them. Yeah.
Every once in a while, Atlanta will get one. Every once in a while, New Orleans will get one. Every once in a while, Houston will get one. But like, that's it. They don't like. They're not gonna. Like, do you think Goodell's really like, man? Like, we gotta put one in, in Kansas City? No, like it's just the reality of it. No, it's not. It's not the way the NFL thinks. It's not. It's no slight on Kansas City, but it's freezing.
Here's the other thing too. SoFi Stadium already is slated for another one. They've hosted one. Like they're slated for 2027. Atlanta does come back up in 2028. But like Levi Stadium, they're hosting their second one. That venue I think opened in 2016, and so they had Super
right around then. Yeah,
they have Super Bowl 50, and they're getting 60 as well.
Yeah.
Wow, NFL must really like that stadium then. It doesn't look finished to me. I've never been to that stadium, but like every time I see it from the outside, it like doesn't look like it's done.
I've been to that stadium, and it's fine, but it's a bitch to get there.
Yeah.
That is not easy. That stadium, that is a hike from San Francisco. Like, if you talk to people from San Francisco, they'll tell you that they're pissed that they moved there. It is a hike to get out there, man. It is not like, if you're not familiar with California's geography, that is not a hop, skip, and a jump. That is, especially with the traffic out in California,
right.
That is a hike.
Well, we talked about this when it came to the TV ratings. Remember, we talked about the Nelson markets, where it's the Bay Area, which is San Jose, San Francisco, and it's just like
from each other.
Right, those are like 3 major cities, and you clump them into one market. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, Oakland and San Francisco hate each other.
Oakland, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It's yeah. Oh no, seriously though, it's not easy. It's not, even like LA. There's a lot of logistical challenges there.
Yeah, there is,
because of all traffic. Atlanta's pretty easy, but again, a lot of these cities, it's not. Phoenix, of all the cities I've been to for the Super Bowl, Phoenix had. I think if I say that in New Orleans, I think if Phoenix and New Orleans is probably the best setup for it.
Yeah.
In terms of just easy, in and out, not difficult. Like Miami was a great host in terms of, man, like there's a lot to do in Miami.
Right, yeah.
But man, it's like 45 minutes from the hotel to the convention center.
Yeah, that's what I heard for that one. That one was rough. Okay, other quick hitters here. Let's keep it out in California. Chargers. I don't know if you saw this. Chargers to add jersey patches to their uniforms. Thoughts on that? I kind of think it's a cool idea. They have them for playoff appearances though, which is kind of weird for 2 playoff appearances that you lost in both bad fashion. But I like kind of the idea of almost like a helmet sticker concept for your practice jersey. I thought that was kind of a very college concept there from Harbaugh.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, that's lame as hell. I mean, that sounds like, hey, Quentin Johnson caught a pass. Here's a patch. Like that is the biggest loser mentality thing, in my opinion. I'm sorry. Like that's ridiculous. The Chiefs should just mock them.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of cool. But
my God, this isn't putting Buckeye stickers on the helmet. Okay, we're not Columbus.
It's true.
I mean, I can't get behind that, man. That's so weak. That's so weak. Like, I just want to know, how many different accomplishments are there, and is it just basically one big? All I want to see is, does Quentin Johnson have any? Because if he does, this is one big participation trophy.
That's a great point. He probably does actually have one for playoff appearances because they are doing that.
Are you kidding me? You get a fucking sticker on there. You're on a team that made the playoffs.
Yeah.
Do you have the criteria in front of you?
I just pulled up the article. I'm skimming it real quick to see it. Harbaugh in his quote said, kind of reminds me how a military general has different patches. The patches can be awarded for multiple achievements. Chargers team captain, Ed Block Courage Award winner, Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee or winner, Chargers playoff participant, NFL playoff participant, holds a Chargers record, holds an NFL record, has earned an All-Pro honor, or is a Chargers Block of Granite Award winner, which is a weight room accomplishment bestowed by Ben Herbert, the executive director of player performance.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. How about this? How about nobody gets a patch and you win a playoff game? How about that?
The playoff appearances, I can't get behind playoff appearances.
That's like when the Colts put up a banner that said AFC finalist.
Yeah, that one's really funny though.
That is the saddest thing in the world. Like, I feel like this speaks to, and I mean this. This stuff speaks to where different franchises are mentally. Like,
yeah.
Can you imagine the Chiefs doing this?
No.
Okay.
No.
But the Chargers are like, well, we don't win shit, so here's a patch. Okay? Like, I'm sorry. That is so pathetic. I remember so as a Devils fan, when they were in the midst of winning 3 Stanley Cups in 9 years, which seems like a lifetime ago, because I guess basically now it was. In 2012, they went to the Stanley Cup final and they lost. my girlfriend at the time and I, she was also a Devils fan, so that's how we met. We went to the season opener the next year. So we're like, oh, that's cool. They'll raise the banner. And they didn't even acknowledge it. They were so annoyed they lost in the final. They didn't even acknowledge that they went to the Stanley Cup final.
Right.
They just hung it the corner of the stadium. Nothing. Not a mention. Nothing. They were like, yeah, that's nice. We still suck.
Yeah.
And just hung it in the corner. Now, if the Devils even won the division, they'd raise that thing up there like they won the Stanley Cup. But it's just so fun. Like, it's so funny now. Like, you'll look at it, how different. I remember when the Knicks won a playoff game in the first round of the playoffs. They were down 3-0 to Miami when they had, LeBron and Wade. They won game 4. They were going to get killed in 5. It was going to be a gentleman's sweep. They dropped confetti from the roof of Madison Square Garden. It was the saddest moment I've ever had as a Knicks fan. It was disgusting. And it's like, that just goes to show you, like, where that franchise was mentally. Like, they would never do that now, but back then, oh my God. The Chargers are celebrating the fact, hey, did you participate in the playoff game once? Here's a sticker. You're a loser. I'm sorry. You're a huge loser.
Speaking of losers, the Raiders signed Jermaine Pratt to a 1-year, $4.25 million deal a day after he was released by the Bengals. He can earn another $500,000 in incentives. Matt, does this change your thought on the Las Vegas Raiders at all?
No.
Mine either.
Good. Well, we got that out of the way.
Other Bengals news. Shamar Stewart, he did show up to camp. We talked about him on the last on Wednesday's pod. Showed up to minicamp and he said, "Wait, I don't have to be here." So he left. He's no longer there. Didn't show up anymore.
Just like, I'm good.
Yeah, so he's not there, and he shouldn't have. Like, I don't think he should be there because he's not under contract.
Oh, the hell!
According to him, he's 100% right. Remember, he's 100% right.
Just 99% right.
Right. So he's no longer there, and I love him. I think he's my favorite football player.
He, honest to God, this is an all-time hilarious. Like, he has run them so far into the ditch.
Yeah.
Dude, it's great. It's just, he's run them into the ditch like he's a 5-time All-Pro.
Yes.
If he's not good, this is going to shatter the hilarity scale. Like,
oh my gosh.
If he's terrible and it's talked all this noise, it's going to be amazing. So I'm here for all of it, man. The Bengals are hilarious. The entire thing is just, and like Bengals fans on Twitter are just losing their minds. It's unbelievable. Here's an idea: just sign him.
Yeah. How about don't put that in the new little that new little clause? Yeah.
What's your deal? God, the Bengals. Only the Bengals would turn this into what it's become.
Some quotes from Zach Taylor here. He wasn't here today, so we'll focus on the guys that we have here. He and I have had private conversations. Taylor also said he had good communication with Stewart before he left. He said also, quote, "There's a first for everything. Every year you kind of learn something new in this position. And this is just one of those things that the players have managed really well. We keep the team moving, and when he jumps on the field, that'll be great for our team." How long before Zach Taylor says, I can't take any more of this, I've got to get out of here and go to an actual organization that cares about my football team that I'm trying to coach?
Yeah, it may not be as long as we think. I mean, it's just
because they're not going to fire him. That's for damn sure.
No, they're not. They're not paying any extra money. I just think the Bengals are just the gift that keeps on giving with this stuff. But yeah, like, all kidding aside, I'll take it in a serious way for a minute though.
Okay, yeah.
This is why with the Chiefs, anybody out there who's a Chiefs fan is watching this stuff, and most of you are, you should really enjoy and like be borderline reverent what this team's doing.
Yeah.
They have gone to 5 out of 6 Super Bowls and won 3 of them. And I got to tell you, throughout the course of this run, there have been a lot of teams. It's like, oh, they're the team that's going to challenge them. And the Bills, to their credit, have kind of sustained that.
Yeah.
They haven't gone over the hump, but at least they've been there throughout this whole thing.
Right.
Remember when the Bengals were that team? Who was like, oh, the Bengals, man, they're just going to, Yeah, they're the team. And look, for a couple of years, we all were like, yeah, like they're the biggest threat to them. But then it was also like, are the Bengals going to bangle this thing up? Are they going to? Yep, sure did. Like, remember when the Texans with CJ Stroud, it was like, oh my God, here they come. Yeah, right. Not so much. Remember every year the Chargers were supposedly being good? Yeah, until they're not. Like, and it shows you how incredible it is, how dominant this team has been over here. Like, it is brutally difficult to be as great as the Chiefs have been for 1 year, let alone for a half a decade, more than a half decade now. The Bengals had every opportunity over the course of Burrow's rookie deal and Chase's rookie deal and Higgins' rookie deal, and even Hendrickson. They paid him $4 and $60. It wasn't like they're paying him 30 some odd million a year. Like, they had every opportunity to say, you know what, we're going to invest in this offensive line. We're going to keep Jesse Bates. We're not going to let him walk out the door. We're going to bring all these guys. We're going to win. They didn't care. They kept Burrow and the receivers, and everybody else is gone. And they haven't invested in scouting, and they haven't invested in trying to make this team better. And this is a result of that. They are having a pissing match with Shamar Stewart over a language in his rookie contract. Like, I don't care how you want to spin this. They're an unserious franchise. They're not committed to winning.
Yeah.
They don't care. And if they cared, they'd still have Jesse Bates. And they'd have Trey Hendrickson locked up long term. And they wouldn't be having a pissing match over a ridiculous thing like this with Shamar Stewart. And they wouldn't be having guys, demand trades every other hour of the day. Said everyone about the Chiefs. And the Chiefs, listen, they've had their own hilarious moments. Chris Jones showing up at that charity event, like, looking to get paid, the Katz brothers, and, but I'll say this about the Chiefs. They eventually get it done.
They do.
They get it done with these guys. They may quibble and take forever. They get it done. You see Creed Humphrey on another team right now? Trey Smith, he going anywhere? Like, they pay these guys. They sign these guys. They keep them around. And by the way, Creed Humphrey, his contract blew every other contract out of the water at that position.
Right.
Not even close.
Right.
They gave Mahomes $500 million.
Yeah.
They were like, well, maybe like a 4-year. They were like, no, that's fine. Here's a lifetime contract. Don't ever leave us.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't screw around with these guys. They paid them. And I got to tell you, like when his time comes, they're going to pay Trent McDuffie. They're going to pay him. It might be $25 million a year. They're going to pay him. The Bengals have shown that, hey, you know what? We are going to nickel and dime this thing unless you are absolutely like, we have no choice but to sign you. And, look, this is what you end up with. A circus.
Yep.
This is like, and you end up with a team that you're like, if everything in its mother breaks right, we'll win 9 games. You have Joe Burrow, and you're like, maybe we're a playoff team? I mean, that's a joke. In the NFL today, in this day and age, if you've got Joe Burrow, you should moonwalk to the playoffs.
Right.
It should not be hard. Now, winning the Super Bowl, sure, that's hard. But getting there, you should be a 10-win team by accident with Joe Burrow in 2025.
They got Joe Burrow and a top 3 wide receiver. And it's like, I don't know.
You should moonwalk to the playoffs.
Yeah. They won't.
They won't. It'll be a death match to get to 10 wins.
Yeah. The Bengals, man. Bad organization.
Not good. Not good.
Couple more headlines. Daniel Jones doing a hell of a job per Shane Steichen as the starting quarterback for the Colts. So that's where the Colts are at. That's tough.
That's not good.
That's not good. My college roommate, KB, I think I've talked about him on the podcast before. He is a Colts fan. And he is majorly bummed out that he now has to become a Daniel Jones defender.
Yeah, I would be too.
He said that's the worst part of this whole thing about Anthony Richardson getting hurt, is that now I have to defend Daniel Jones.
Listen, I remember the years of having to, and believe there are plenty of them, having to talk yourself into how a quarterback in Kansas City was
all work.
Oh, yeah. Like, I don't even go to Alex Smith because that's disrespectful to Alex Smith. But, like, Matt Castle.
Tyler Bray.
But, yeah, you know what? Like, there's no reason he can't just not get in the way and they win 10 games.
See those 4 games in New England?
Can't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sucks. And you know what I got to tell you? When you got to go through that whole song and dance, there's a reason, because the guy's not good.
Yeah. It is bad. Okay. Stay with the Colts. The Colts will induct Jim Irsay into their they call it Ring of Honor. Is that what they call it?
I believe so, yeah. And you know, as they should.
They should. Yeah, absolutely should. I did see that his daughters took over ownership. His 3 daughters took over ownership. I like that. That's good there. Last thing here as well. DJ Humphries. Remember, originally in the offseason, we covered when we said, hey, he's going to sign with, I believe it was the 49ers that he was going to sign with.
Yep.
And a few weeks later, it came out that he actually didn't agree to terms with the 49ers.
That's like the last month.
Yeah. He just signed with the Los Angeles Rams.
Are we absolutely positive this time?
Well, NFL Network is reporting this one that per his agency, he has agreed to terms with the Los Angeles Rams. He's agreeing to terms with the Los Angeles Rams because Alaric Jackson is dealing with some blood clots, per Ian Rappaport.
Yeah, that's not good. That's scary.
That is not. He will play in the 2025 season. That is the belief. There's some questions to his availability. He did sign a 3-year, $57 million extension in February with those Los Angeles Rams. He started 35 of 41 regular season games since he was a UDFA in 21. He's 26 years old. He dealt with the blood clots in 22 and he's ruled out mid-season after 8 games played. Yeah. Humphrey comes in as a little bit of some insurance for them as well.
Yes. Oh, no, it's good insurance. I mean,
yeah.
He's 2 years removed now from the ACL, and they do the Rams, like those blood clot things. That's a scary thing.
It is.
First of all, just from a human standpoint, it's a scary thing. But secondarily, like from a player standpoint, that can be a really scary thing because guys, that at times has been career ending in some cases, but also like their guys have seasons because of stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, that is a scary deal.
All right, let's wrap up the show here with some power rankings. Before we get to power rankings, got to give a shout out. You go check out mine and Matt's socials to Mountain Dew. Mountain Dew. Those guys, we're going to be doing the Dew on this podcast for a very long time because the fine folks at Mountain Dew saw our soda power rankings. Matt, you had regular OG Mountain Dew at 2. I had Baja Blast at number 1. Yep. I believe is how that all shook out. They saw our power rankings and they said, these are a couple of fine gentlemen that know their sodas.
That's right.
And they sent us a incredible care package, more than I could have anticipated. Mountain Dew sending us. I got the video over on my timeline at Tucker D. Franklin on Twitter. You can check that out as well. I'll tweet out a picture, quote tweeting kind of like the power ranking graphics that we put out as well. No clue how they saw it, Matt, but you actually called me about a week ago and told me that they were they'd gotten eyes on it.
I did. I got an email from a marketing rep who she was very kind and said, we saw your power rankings and we would love to send you some free stuff as a thank you. And I got to tell you, like they sent a cooler to each of us that is like legitimate. Like a cooler you would probably spend a couple $100 on in the store. Like a really nice cooler. Along with some soda and a shirt and a Frisbee and all kinds of stuff. So this is a shout out to Mountain Dew. I'm going to get the picture out. I can't lift anything right now because my back is surgically repaired. But I also, by the way, going to tell you straight up, took some medication for that last night before I went to bed. Wild dreams. Anyway, wild. I don't even know if half it was a dream, half it was real. I don't even want to know. Yeah, but the point is, Mountain Dew hooked us up, and you've got a video. I'll be sending out a picture, so I'm not as creative as you are with this stuff. But this is a shout out to Mountain Dew. It is also a challenge to anybody else we power rank here.
Right.
You now have to live up to Mountain Dew's standard.
It's true. Mountain Dew set a high bar,
which is why this episode we're power ranking cars.
We are power ranking cars today.
So, hey, everybody out there, you work for some of these car companies we're about to mention. What do you got? Just saying. Mountain Dew's putting everybody else to shame.
That's true.
Everybody else. Mountain Dew stepped up. We didn't tag Mountain Dew.
No.
But I'm going to tell you right now, we're about to tag every damn car company in this, so don't say you didn't see it. All right, hit it. Number 5, who you got?
Number 5, I'm going to go with, I probably got to go with the good old Cadillac at number 5. Number 5, my first car actually was a Cadillac, not a big flex because it was a Cadillac Grand, I think, can't remember. No, DeVille. Cadillac DeVille, the white one. You can check that one out. I got it for free. That's the car that I was rocking. Cadillac, number 5 for me, Matt.
First car I ever got was a 1992 Chevy Caprice because somebody died.
That's so cool.
Yeah, not good for that guy though.
Right, not good for the guy. Sorry to the guy.
Yeah, sorry. Great Uncle Phil, he came through though.
Rest in peace. Yeah.
Yeah, he had a long one. All right, number 5 for me. I'm going to go with just a good old fashioned, just run, Honda.
Honda, okay.
I've had a Honda Civic. I loved my Honda Civic. I sold it when I moved to Chicago, but I loved it. I got great mileage out of it. Better in weather than you would think it would have been. It might have my eye on a CRV in the future. I'm a big fan of Hondas. Just a dependable, reliable, it's a good car. Just a good, solid car.
Yeah, no, I mean that's a great pick there. Number 4 for me, I think I'm gonna go with Jaguar. I think I'm gonna go Jaguar at number 4. You might be thinking, Tucker, wow, that seems kind of low for a Jaguar. Jaguar's kind of a nice car. I got expensive taste.
Expensive taste for an expensive man. I'll go. I won't go champagne taste yet. Number 4, okay. Jeep. I'll go Jeep. I've had a couple Jeeps in my life.
Solid.
It's largely been good to me. Although I will say right now, I got a check engine light on. I'm not happy about it. Jeep, if you're listening, just know that there's a way to remedy this. Everybody gets good press out of this.
Mm-hmm.
But I've had a couple of Cherokee. Well, I had a Grand Cherokee. Now I have Cherokee. I've always liked the Jeeps. I've always had good experiences with them. I know some people would argue that I've had good experiences with them. So I'm a shout out Jeep at number 4. But if I got to spend $1,000 to get this check engine light fixed, shit's dropping off my power ranking. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, power rankings are very flexible.
I was going to say things change in life.
Things do change. Number 3, I got Rivian. I got to give some love to the electric vehicles as well. Yeah. Rivian, a very nice. I like that electric car brand. They look sleek. I kind of want an electric car, but it's always one of those things that it's kind of a major investment when you go from owning a gas car for your whole life into an electric car. You kind of got to switch some stuff up. Craig Stout, big electric car guy, so I talk to him about electric cars sometimes. Rivians, a very big fan of how they look and how they just are performance cars and everything like that. So I got to give some love to electric cars at number 3.
No, fair enough. I will go with Dodge. I feel like Dodge kind of straddles the line. Like you can get obviously like an affordable Dodge, but also there's some high end Dodge like Chargers, Challengers, Bill Dodge Viper, and like some great cars that Dodge makes. My dad used to own a Dodge, like a white Dodge truck that he kept in such immaculate shape that people would actually come up to us in like parking lots, like, can I take a picture of your truck? It was just a 92 like Dodge pickup, but it was immaculate. Yeah, man, really. Yeah, Dodge got a lot of good stuff. Great trucks, also some cool like muscle cars. So Dodge kind of does a nice job of covering the whole spectrum. So I'll go number 3 with Dodge.
They got the Hemis, the Hemi engines. Those are the good ones. Also, should be a disclaimer: Matt and I not car guys at all. So that should probably have been a disclaimer at the beginning of this. Not huge into car guys. Number 2 for me, I got to pick a Lamborghini. Look, you ever just see like a Lamborghini when you're like going to the store and you see it out? You can't help but look at it. You can't help when you're passing a Lamborghini, it's going to catch your eye. And you're always going to be staring at it no matter where you are. If you're passing it on the highway, if you are parked at the Trader Joe's parking lot, because I'm sure there's probably a lot of Lamborghinis out front of Trader Joe's, or what else could it be? Oh, the Apple store, maybe a Lululemon. You could check out Lamborghinis around there. But yeah, there's something about a Lamborghini that just draws your eye to it. That's my number 2.
Yeah, I think with Lamborghinis way up there. Like my daughter, who's 7 years old, is obsessed with seeing a Lamborghini. Obsessed.
It's pretty sick. Every time you see one, you're like, wow, I remember. Like you remember seeing a Lamborghini. It's very impressionable.
The funny thing is, though, she's like, she'll see like a Toyota Corolla and be like, is that a Lamborghini? I'm like, yeah, honey, yeah, sure. Here goes a Dodge Stratus. All right, number 2 for me. I'll go BMW, man.
That's a good one.
I've always loved BMWs. I had a buddy of mine who he had like his family means he had a couple BMWs, and the only time I ever got to go near a BMW was when I got his BMW. I remember one time, man, we took that thing. He had like an SUV that was BMW. I think it was like a 5 Series or something. We took that thing to Cooperstown, and it's one of those things you look back on, like we were all like 18 and stupid.
Yeah.
He drove about 100 miles an hour all the way up there. And we were just like, this is the coolest car in the world. And some jerk off passed us. We were, honestly, God, we were going probably 95 miles an hour. This guy passes us in like, it's some bullshit car. I forget what it was. It's some ridiculous car that had like no business passing a BMW. We go around the curve. There's a state trooper. They pulled over that guy. I was dying laughing. But in any event, BMW, man, just great cars. Mm-hmm. Great cars. Yeah, a little expensive to repair, but like if you have the money to get a BMW, then like who really gives a shit, right? So I'm team BMW. I love them. I think they got a lot of good stuff. I'll say BMW too.
That's a solid one. They just missed my list. I'd probably give them the 6th spot, truthfully. I do enjoy me some BMWs. And look, number 1 for me, again, not much of a car guy. But anytime that I am, I get a whiff of what's going on in Formula One, I always see this brand at the top, and it's McLaren. I gotta get there's a look of a McLaren too. They're good cars. They go fast. They look cool as hell. And those are 2 things that I care about in the car: looking cool as hell and going fast. Yeah. McLaren does both of those things. I pulled up the F1 standings just to double check myself, to fact check. Top 2, McLaren. So they know how to go fast. They know how to get it done, and they look sick as hell. McLaren, number 1.
Lamborghini is number 1 for me.
Yeah, that's fair. That's very fair.
Ridiculous. So we could also hear, we talk about Lambo or Porsche or whatever. There's a million different ways to go with this, right? But Lamborghinis are just, I feel like that is the ultimate vehicle status symbol. Like if I roll up to your house in a Lamborghini, right, like you already
tone setter. I
was about to say, yeah, your opinion has been made.
Yeah,
I've already even got out of the car. Like this guy's serious.
Yeah,
so Lamborghini number 1 with a bullet. But yeah, listen, all these car companies, you're getting added, you're getting tagged, and if you're not willing to live up to Mountain Dew standards, sad day for this country.
Mountain Dew is a real hero that we need and deserve in this country. Shout out Mountain Dew. Love the folks at Mountain Dew. I have to shill for Mountain Dew for the rest of my life, I'm pretty sure. And I will. It's not a problem. Not a problem for me because they make Baja Blast, and that's the best soda in the world. All right, Matt. Anything else before we head out of here for the weekend?
No, I think we've covered it. I think we've covered all things. I'll tell you what we're not going to do this week. We're not going to talk to Antonio Brown because we did that last episode, and wow, have things developed since then. So I'm going to leave that alone. But
has he been accused or charged? Sorry,
charged.
Okay, gotcha.
Charged with attempted murder. Yep. So I'm going to leave that alone with about 100-foot pole. But in any event, enjoy your weekend. Enjoy Father's Day. Chiefs mini camps next week. And I'm going to sit here and try to just continue to learn how to bend again after surgery. So it's good.
I think that's going to do it for Matt Verderame and Tucker Franklin. Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Thank you guys so much for listening to this podcast. Hit a like, hit a subscribe. 1 like equals 1 car, I guess. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, become a ball knower. We appreciate you guys. We'll talk to you guys on Wednesday with Chiefs mandatory mini camp underway. We'll talk to you then.